Hello and welcome to the Visible and Unstoppable podcast. And I am your host, Louise Kirk. And I support women to let go of the self-doubt and all the stories that sabotage their success so they can have the confidence to take the actions they need to make more income and impact in their business. Have you ever looked at these incredible client result stories and thought, wow, like this coach or this program must be so incredible because look at all these people who have gone to like this huge overnight success. All of a sudden they're making 40K and having 100K launches and they're, hitting viral reels all over the place. So all I have to do is just work with this person and I'll get that result. So today I really want to talk about what you are not told about client success stories and why that is important for you to know. And this isn't just about commenting about how other people share their success stories, because it's not really about that. It's not about making a judgment about whether or not you should be using this strategy. 100% you should be talking about your client results because what you do is amazing. But it's more about being aware of what you are not told about many of those client success stories so that you can make the better decisions about where you're investing your time, your energy, your money, but also because it has such a huge impact in the confidence of so many of the women that I talk to when they see a lot of these stories and they're looking at it and they're like, but why not me? Why didn't I get that result? Why is it that I can't seem to get those 40K launches, or I'm not hitting viral reels after one program, or they start comparing themselves and they assume there is something fundamentally wrong about themselves because they don't have a clearer picture as to how those clients got those results. So I just want to do a short deep dive into what you might not be told when you see these amazing, incredible, transformative results out there. And again, this is not to put down anyone who does use this. It is just for you, your own knowledge and awareness. So often when we see these amazing results someone gets, my client had this 50K launch while working together. Now, it's not to say that that coach or that program isn't incredible. They didn't support them to get results. But what often happens is everyone goes, great, I want a 50K launch. I will join that program. And they go into the program and they might not get the 50K launch. But the reason being is not because of anything to do particularly about that person's personality or whether or not they're deserving enough or whether or not people really love them enough. It's usually because you've not been given the full picture. So that person who had that 40K launch, it most likely already had a pre-existing audience before they joined whatever container, right? They didn't come from nowhere. They probably already had dialed in their niche, their messaging. They already probably had been putting offers out there. There is a good chance they already had people who were sitting on the fence and who were warm. It is not likely, and I would argue very unlikely, that they were someone who were brand new, who had never created an offer before, who had no audience, who had not been currently nurturing leads, who just one day launched something and got 40K. But you're not told that. You're not told the full story. Now, I remember listening to I wish I could remember who it was, somebody's podcast. And they were also talking about something similar where they'd been a part of a program where they were creating an online program. They thought, that's the way to go. I hear all these people. I'm going to do my program online instead of more group live coaching. So anyway, she joined this program and this other lady got insane results. And of course, the course creators who took them through this program were plastering her results everywhere. She had like, I don't know, something crazy pants, like 100K launch or something. I know, I made those numbers up, but it was really large. This huge launch of her course, and they plastered that everywhere. And they were like, oh, this person made so much money. But then when she later went on to ask this lady about how did you do it? Because hers didn't go so well. We're like, well, first of all, she already had a pre-existing business. She already had a huge network of people who knew her, who trusted her, who knew what she was doing, and were basically just waiting for her to put out this type of offer. The second thing is she did Facebook ads. And they actually spent more money on Facebook ads than what they made in revenue for that launch. Now, when they were out there promoting these amazing results this lady got, did anyone mention that actually she lost money? No. Did anyone actually mention the fact that she had a pre-existing business? So she already kind of knew what she was doing, right? She just needed support refining certain things. So that's not to say that being a part of this program didn't benefit her, but it wasn't the full picture. It wasn't the truth. And for me, for my clients, I know there's a big difference in the results they're going to get in terms of their income over the time we're together, depending on where they're at in their business. Some of my clients already have established businesses and they're looking to take it to the next level, but they know they got the self-doubt, they got the fear, the things that are stopping them from actually moving forwards. And so what they really need is support around those shifts, right? And so that they know that they can make, I know that they're going to make that money a lot quicker than say someone who is brand new to coaching. You know, they've done their coaching certificate, they've invested in some kind of strategy, but it's not really working because they know they're not really following through because they're freaking out around sales or being visible or, you know, all the good stuff that comes, especially at the beginning of your journey in business. And so I know the likeliness of them hitting the same level of income as the other person by the time that we work together is less likely, right? Because they've still got to build an audience. They've still got to get clear, really clear about their offer. They've still got to actually have the confidence to nurture their audience, to generate leads and to follow up with leads and to hold sales conversations. They need to have the confidence to be able to pitch their offer. So they also have a lot of those stories that need to shift in order for them to be able to take the action, and they need to take a whole heap of action to get to a certain point. And so I know that the level of results in terms of income is going to be very different depending on where my clients are, depending on their background, depending on their mindset, depending on how much time they have in the day, depending on how many actions they're going to take, depending on what's going on in their family life, right? We're not given this picture often when we see all these shiny results. Now, why does this matter? This isn't just about a rant. As I said, this is not about saying you should or shouldn't do it. This is really just about your awareness. So when you see that, it's not that that program's not amazing. It's not that you couldn't get that result, but it gives you the opportunity then, if you are on a sales call, having a sales conversation, you can ask those questions. Hey, I saw that, you know, you said one of your clients got this result. Can you tell me more about how they did that? Like, where were they already at? Did they already have a business? Did they already have an audience? What was it that happened? When you talk about reels going viral, it's usually typical. It's not that first reel that someone has ever created, right? Usually it's like someone who has already been creating reels and refining their reels. And then finally, like maybe with extra support, their reels finally go viral. It's not like one day they woke up, recorded something, and that one video, the first video they ever made, they ever posted, is now like the viral video, right? That rarely, I don't even know anyone that's happened to. So first of all, so you have the opportunity to go, okay, maybe I need to ask more questions. It's also about being able to set your own expectations. I was a part of a container, actually, it was probably a few years ago now. And again, they did the same thing about only promoting the people who got really amazing results, but didn't tell anyone the fact that they already had pre-existing businesses and they just needed extra support around certain things, right? But then there was a whole bunch of new people, new to the industry, who had never had a paying client before, who still wasn't really sure about what their niche was, hadn't done anything with their messaging, hadn't even started building an audience. And they were entering with their same expectation that by the end of the 3 months, they should be hitting 10K months. Because this was also what was sold to them through the marketing, through the sales conversations, through every part of piece of them getting into that. It was sold to them very heavily, this expectation that that would be possible. Now, I'm not saying it is impossible, but the likeliness is if you have never coached, never had a paid client, you don't know your niche, you've not ever done anything related to business, as in like you don't know how to build an audience, market yourself, sell, to like do all of these things and do them confidently, there's a good chance, a very high chance, you're not going to be hitting 10K months after 3 months. Because think about all of the knowledge and skills you have to learn just in that time frame, just to get you up and going in your business to start getting in clients. Now, of course, you could be reaching out to your immediate network and be summoning clients without having to do all of those things. But generally speaking, so a lot of these clients would go through and be questioning like, well, why am I not getting that result? Why am I not getting that result? And what would happen is either they would look at themselves and go, well, maybe it's just me. People don't actually want what I have to offer. No one thinks I'm good at what I do. No one thinks I'm worth investing in. There's something wrong with me because I can see other people have achieved this and I'm not achieving it. And so their self-confidence would just like plummet and the self-doubt be so high that they would stop taking actions to carry on to build their business because they were thinking, oh, what's the point? It's me. Then some others would be looking at the coach and the program and they would blame them. You lied to me. You misled me. And to an element, specifically speaking to that program, not everyone's, they were lied to or greatly misled, right? In the whole process, they were greatly misled as to what they should expect because it was about getting people in and ultimately taking their money. And I believe at the moment they are currently facing legal suit over that because there were a lot of people who actually felt that they were greatly misled. So also a lesson for you ladies. Don't lie about what you're going to deliver. So it's also about setting up realistic expectations. So yes, the things in the program will help you no matter what stage of business you're at, but you might have to adjust your expectations as to what you're going to achieve by the end of that. But knowing that if you continue to implement said strategies or whatever it is that they're teaching, that at some point that could support you to get to the 10K, the 40K, the whatever, right? So it's not to say those programs aren't going to be great, but it's about managing those expectations. And so when you're out there looking at all these results thinking, oh no, it's just me, I must suck, because you're at the earliest stages of your business, set more realistic expectations. Or you set the expectation. Most people you see now who are actually doing really well, who are earning lots of money, have put in the work. They put in the work, they put in the time, they put in the investment. They didn't just start and then after day one, they were a huge success. I know we're all impatient. I'm 100% impatient. But it's about setting those expectations for yourself. not to lower expectations in the sense of, oh, well, I won't be making money for years, but it's about really being honest with yourself that actually business, despite what you've been told, is not an overnight success gig. And you'll find all those overnight success stories are not actually overnight. You've just not been shown all the years, all the tears, all the tantrum, and the effort that they've had to put in to build up to that point. So, what I really wanted from this episode today is for you to be able to be aware and to ask questions, not to write off anyone who says it has amazing client results, but it gives you opportunity to go, okay, well, maybe there's something in that I can then ask more questions. When you're having sales conversations, you are the one who is deciding. You are the one who has the power to actually ask more questions. To say, I saw this client had this result. Can you tell me more about that? How did that happen? Did they already have a pre-existing audience? Did they already have a pre-existing business? Maybe they were actually already earning pretty decent money before they even entered that container, but that container just helped them to take it to another level. So you can ask them too, hey, if you're at a different stage of business than perhaps that person, you can say, what would be my expectations? What would you expect I might, because they can never guarantee a result, that's down to you, might be able to get from this, given that I'm starting from this point instead. Because you're going to get able to make a more informed decision, not based upon hype marketing or, just a desire to want that thing that someone else has, but to actually make the informed decision. Is this the right decision for me? But also for you to know that when you're looking and you're comparing yourselves to other people, maybe it's within the same container or group that you're in, or maybe it's just that you're looking at all these results and you think everyone's all of a sudden a millionaire and they're doing it effortlessly. It's not true. That actually, there's nothing wrong with you. That it's most likely the part of the journey that you're in. Not to say that you should not be trying to constantly look for, more solutions and more support to get you there quicker, but that actually, if you are in the first year or so in your business and you are new to business, that this is a tough time because you have to learn a lot of skills. You have to overcome so many obstacles in terms of your confidence to be able to take the actions that comparing yourself to someone further along in their journey is not going to support you. I hope you all found this useful and are going to go out there with fresh eyes when you are out there in the online space and looking at all this lovely marketing that goes on. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you all soon.